enough to say that he committed racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking. Now, prostitution across state lines is an easier charge to prove.
And Combs' former assistant, David James, is set to resume his testimony today after recounting just yesterday that Ventura told him that she could not leave Combs because he oversees so much of her life. James also saying, too, that Combs told him that he found Cassandra Ventura to be, quote,
the content in this video is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. Our goal is to report on public conversations, provide context, and, where applicable, clarify misinformation and debunk false claims. We strive for ethical and responsible reporting by presenting a balanced perspective, verifying information wherever possible, and citing all relevant sources, including articles, tweets, TikTok.
First name.
Yeah.
Which we have now learned that several of the guys were in the TV show Gigolos. Several of the guys that were photographed and released were on that show. There's even a guy on there that was a very popular Miami promoter. One of them they named as being the escort that was a part of the Intercontinental beatdown. So one of those guys was a part of that, which you would assume that maybe that guy's going to testify. I mean, don't we want to know, from the third person, what exactly went down?
Diddy. Did he do it? Essentially, what he put out there is that he can make people disappear. That one statement buried between Shannon Sharpe's growls and offhand comments now rings with a sinister resonance. The whispers are no longer whispers. They're loud, messy, and echoing from courtroom to courtroom. As if 2024 wasn't chaotic enough, the collision of two high-profile worlds, music and sports, has brought former NFL star and sports commentator Shannon Sharpe into the orbit of Diddy's spiraling legal collapse. It started with the tapes, but it didn't end there. Don't blink. This story is darker than we thought. Outside looking in, things appear worse than ever. What was once a handful of allegations is now a sprawling network of claims. Abuse, trafficking, ritual parties, NDAs shattered like glass.
I want to discuss the J-Lo of it all because it is relevant. Cassie even mentioned holding an arm for him to go into a club, which is the same thing everyone suspected J-Lo had to do.
Their initial contact was in regards to a employee-employer relationship. He put her under contract for a 10-album deal, which anyone in the music industry knows is equivalent to kidnapping and servitude. 10 albums, it would take you a lifetime to complete that. You have people whose body of work right now is 30 years and they have 10 albums. 10 albums means he owned her. And it is not hard for her to dispute that fact because look where she is. She got a record deal in 2006. She put out one album. This man was on top of the world at that time. Where are the other 9 albums? It was never his intent to put those albums out. So this is where the racketeering falls into place. You converted this professional contract into servitude and used this woman for your pleasure at your will and then abused her on top of it. You cannot bridge the lines between professionalism and dealing with someone who's your subordinate. It creates a...
According to prosecutors, what started as an investigation into Sean Combs's conduct has exploded into something bigger. Testimonies mention drugs hidden in Louis Vuitton toiletry bags, cross-country trafficking, and an endless supply of ketamine, MDMA, and cocaine, allegedly supplied by a dealer known only as One Top. The details? Brutal. Witnesses like Don Richard testify to beatings, threats, manipulation, but it's not just Cassie anymore. There are others, many others. And it's no longer only...
Today, would you answer?
Cassandra Ventura's one-time best friend, Carrie Morgan, facing questions outside court Monday. Morgan testifying inside that she witnessed Sean Combs beat Ventura twice and alleges Combs even attacked her, prompting her and Ventura to sever ties. The jury also seeing these disturbing images of Ventura, including swollen lips, bruised eyes, and bruises about her body. The images considered key evidence in prosecutors' trafficking case against Combs. The defense arguing the couple was in love, though their relationship was flawed and fraught with hostility. Combs' lawyers say Ventura willingly took part in so-called fake-off sex parties. Newly released evidence images showing much of what prosecutors say were part and parcel of those fake-offs. Baby oil, lubricant, cash, and drugs, including ketamine and MDMA. The prosecution says these images were from Combs' arrest last September at the Park Hyatt in Midtown.
And she could never, he had the power dynamic. Not only was he 17 years older, but he called the shots. She couldn't do anything without his approval. He had her entire career in his hand.
Yeah, I mean, there's also all these arguments that, well, why didn't she leave? She did. We have evidence of her attempting to leave on multiple occasions, right?
And people have to factor in there's something called Stockholm Syndrome. If life was so simple, it would be black and white. It is not. Life exists primarily in those gray areas. She was afraid. This man pulled guns on her, which she admitted today, and threatened her, her mom, her family. What would you do if you were the person that stood between you, your family getting hurt, or you enduring another day of this? How many of us would not sacrifice ourselves for the betterment of our family? People do it every day. But in this situation, because he was wealthy and they saw her living what appeared to be a glamorous life.
Diddy, who's under fire. One name keeps appearing unexpectedly: Shannon Sharpe. The man known for his take-no-prisoners attitude, his dominance on the field, his quick wit on Club Shay. Now, a leaked clip allegedly filmed by his own bodyguard shows him at one of Diddy's notorious parties, not just attending, but possibly participating in something far more disturbing. The video, still unverified, suggests dim lighting, symbolic gestures, highly inappropriate behavior. Eyewitnesses claim ritualistic undertones. Some even call it cult-like.
All conspired to start, moving some illicit material, some illicit white stuff in and out of the neighborhood to make a few bucks on the side. And then, the prosecutor has to prove that there's somehow an organization here that's engaged in some sort of illegal activity. What the feds have said in this case is that Diddy had this business empire already up and running and selling and clothing and making records and doing all this stuff that he's known to have been doing and making millions and millions of dollars. Everybody knows that the enterprise existed. All you have to prove then is that there was something nefarious and illegal taking place under the umbrella of Sean Combs Enterprises or any of, Star Island, whatever he has different sub businesses and everything. So that's where he's really hamstrung himself. He's his own worst enemy. He's a victim of...
That's a heavy accusation. But when your bodyguard tweets, F that NDA, Shannon met that girl when she was 17 at a Diddy party, it stops being a rumor. We're talking about power, silence, and the culture of compliance. Cassie's ex-best friend, Carrie Morgan, took the stand and testified she saw Diddy beat Ventura twice, and even came after her too. Her testimony, combined with graphic images showing swollen lips, bruised eyes, and more, anchors the prosecution's trafficking case in brutal reality. Diddy's defense says the parties were consensual, even loving. But can you truly consent when the other person controls your apartment, your career, and your future?
Carrie testified that she was her best friend and told her, you need to get out of this relationship, you need to leave. And she said, I can't. He controls my career, my apartment, my car, everything, and I cannot leave. That ties everything together so far for the government. It brings her to the point where she can't get out. She's stuck in this relationship, and it ties, so it brings into everything in that the government needed and ties that all together with the trafficking. So it's...
Power dynamics matter, especially when you're 17. The leaked footage of Shannon Sharpe triggered a firestorm. The scene? A secret party allegedly hosted at one of Diddy's properties. The crowd? Carefully curated. The vibe? Unsettling. allegations of underage girls, shadowy figures.
Aspect of it as well, and that's really what I think Natanya was getting at, is that you're trapped. You're not able to do what you would ultimately like to do. You're not able to enjoy the freedom that you would otherwise be able to enjoy, except for the fact that there's this giant 800-pound gorilla in the form of Diddy and his business enterprise kind of suffocating you and holding you to the ground. That's what Natanya's getting at. And yes, that could be problematic.
And here's the deal. Not only was he her boss, not only did he use her for his own deviant desires, but then he housed her separately. So how is she your girlfriend when you make her, on
Ritual undertones. Sharpe's silence in the aftermath only made it worse. No tweet, no podcast explanation, nothing. Social media sleuths ran wild, dissecting every recent post, looking for signs of guilt or innocence. But when you say nothing, people start filling in the blanks. And now, 2 more women have come forward, Michelle and Gabby. Gabby's name was the one the bodyguard dropped. He said she was 17. Her attorney, Tony Busby, is now circling Shannon Sharpe like a shark in bloody waters. In return, Sharpe's team claimed Michelle was obsessed with him, even accusing her of trying to murder her own husband to be with him. It's madness, it's ugly, and it's public. Then there's Dawn Richard again, taking the stand and testifying that Diddy would punch Cassie, choke her, slap her, kick her in the stomach, sometimes out of nowhere. Diddy's own security saw it and did nothing. Why? Fear, power, complicity. Dawn said Cassie tried to leave multiple times, but she couldn't. That's where the government connects it all. Control, coercion, and trafficking. This isn't just about one man. It's a peek into the hidden world of entertainment elites, where NDAs, fame, and fear intersect. Jennifer Lopez's name came up too, with people speculating she knew what was happening all those years ago. She hasn't commented. Neither has Shannon, but the silence is deafening. The public is left wondering, how many knew? How many watched and said nothing? Back in court, former assistant David James describes Cassie telling him she couldn't leave. Diddy oversaw her finances, her schedule, everything. He even called her moldable. That word says everything. And then came the bombshell. That infamous leaked video didn't come from TMZ, didn't come from a blog. It allegedly came from inside Shannon Sharpe's inner circle, his bodyguard. And with that leak, the line between sports analyst and co-conspirator got very, very blurry.
Now, okay? Combs' friend of more than 35 years, all right? The idea that you don't know somebody after that amount of time is an impossibility. The question is...
Social media erupted. Hashtags trended. TikTok lit up. YouTube flooded with commentary. And in the midst of it, Cat Williams's Shay interview resurfaced. Did he warn Shannon? Was this foreshadowed? Nobody knows. But when Jaguar Wright showed up at Diddy's trial, yes, that Jaguar Wright. The circle felt complete. She had been saying Diddy was a trafficker years ago. Nobody listened. Now she's watching the trial unfold in real time. This isn't just a celebrity scandal, it's a cultural reckoning. We are watching a system collapse, one that protected fame at all costs. Shannon Sharpe now finds himself under the same microscope he used to hold up to athletes and rappers. The question now isn't whether Diddy's empire is falling, it's who else will fall with it. Because the deeper we dig, the more this looks like an enterprise, a network. And the feds don't chase whispers, they chase patterns. Sharpe, once respected, is now polarizing. Some fans are holding on, hoping it's all a misunderstanding. Others feel betrayed. And brands, sponsors, and networks, they're watching closely. The next statement from Sharpe, or lack thereof, could define the rest of his career. Silence isn't just risky now. It's deadly. Testimony continues. David James is back on the stand. So are others. We're hearing about Ibiza trips, secret meetings, controlled schedules. Diddy's empire wasn't just music. It was fashion, liquor, TV, real estate, all used as covers, maybe, for something darker. If even a fraction of the accusations stick, it won't just be his legacy that burns. It will be the entire structure that enabled him. And Shannon Sharpe? That leaked clip could place him in legal danger, or it could be the beginning of an unraveling. Either way, he's in the frame now, and no amount of media training or NFL muscle can shield him from the fallout. Because when a bodyguard says, "F that NDA," that's not just betrayal, it's war. This is no longer just about what Diddy did. It's about what the industry covered up, what friends ignored, what fans refused to see. There's no excuse now. The questions are on the table. Was Shannon just there? Or was he complicit? Did he know? Did he watch? Did he walk away? Because right now, the party's over, and the lights are on,